Hi, today I want to tell you about what to do if your husband is having a midlife crisis. There is a difficult period in a man's life, which lasts between 37 and 42 years. This period of life is often referred to as mid-age. Is it really 40 years a disaster for everyone around you and the man himself? For your attention, the book Alpha Male? Yes. Excerpts published by woman.ru. First of all, it is the age of generalizations. If a man considers himself successful in this age, his social ambitions are satisfied, then he is the winner. And the winners are worthy of awards, pedestal, stormy applause, and fascinating glances. The world just must admire his achievements. And who is the inhabitants of this world? A wife who went all along this way to his achievements. She stopped admiring him for a long time, and views his achievements as something completely normal. Maybe children with such a wonderful dad? Hardly. So who will appreciate the deeds of the hero? Who will look at him in love with his eyes full of admiration? You know that well too. Young women who have become the nickname of alpha male image. And the matter here is not that the man decided to exchange an old, 40-year-old wife to too young, 20 years later. And not even that it is damaged or started. He just needs success. And his wife is in no hurry to him with a laurel wreath. And there are so many fascinating girls around. If not now, when? The man thinks. He is still not calm. What am I worth in this life? He is not looking for an answer by asking colleagues or friends. This is the past stage. He needs women's admiration. Now the most important thing for him is the relationship with his magnificent personality. As you hunger, you also have fear. 40, it's not 20 and not 30. The man entered the fifths. It is not known how much that masculine life is left. Where's the triumph? And here the body whispered, youth passed like the sand between the fingers. The man unexpectedly realizes that old age is not behind the mountains, that everything is best left past, that he will soon start to lose strength, that nothing can be rewinded, that he is aging. And the first erectile dysfunction swallows only completes this gloomy picture. Dear ladies, don't try to understand what this means for men. We are excited about cellulite, wrinkles, and other mild discomfort cannot give us any perception of what a man feels. Men at 40 just panic are caused by any changes in hormonal level, anxiety, fear of impotence, decreased potency, erectile dysfunction. Impotence in men is the end of life, a curtain. For good. The man becomes closed, annoyed. Don't forget the testosterone, the aggression hormone, which is thrown into the bloodstream during stress, so you can easily imagine the atmosphere of an aging man's house. The scapegoat, traditionally, becomes a wife. All the suffering of the 40s is focused on potency and intimate achievement topics. Self-identification is suffering because, as we already know, the phallus for a man is a symbol of success and victory, good and masculine force. He is absolutely convinced that his relationship with his wife was over, his feelings evaporated, only the duty remained. The feeling of duty in the 40s of his life is the least inspiring the man. Therefore, during this period, the man says that his wife tortured him, that he does not give his full breast and feel young. The married bed cools down. And that's why the wife is guilty. You can print the text on the refrigerator below so that your husband does not have to suffer the causes of dissatisfaction and frustration. You have become non-existent and uninteresting. Like a man with a skirt. There's nothing to talk to you, you have no interest except your homework and your friends. You stop to understand me, in the family I feel completely lonely. You do not play sports, so you have done sale. You only care about your career and rags. You treat me very consumerist. I need freedom and you constantly spy on me. I have been closer all my life, now I want to live for myself. At home, never-ending problems, so you raise kids. I worked it, I carried money. And you don't know what you were doing. Don't go with stupid questions. You will still not understand what I am. A 40-year-old man wants to change to touch his life. It is an escape from prison ruled by a witch. And there are so many great and good fairies around you. It is the destruction of all the usual and constant. It is the desire for a different life. actually different. Men's 40-year crisis is a shock of 10 points. The man worsens, everything around us splashes, and the desire for freedom exceeds all boundaries. Neither work nor regular hobbies are saved. Everything is depreciated. The last wagon of the traveling train becomes the most important. And the man dancing at him. At the age of 40, a man becomes more sentimental and vulnerable, and the man does not only start intrigue to check his sexual capacity. No! He falls in love. He needs understanding and undeniable recognition. His soul requires inspiration as in his youth. And it can only give a woman completely unlike his wife. In the 40-year-old man, the decreasing testosterone turns it into sensual and sentimental, and here the woman becomes more confident, more strong. And the man needs a closed soul, sensitive and sensual. It is this woman that becomes sexually attractive to him. And for a man, he begins to seem to return to his family anymore. Who will voluntarily return to prison? It is during this period that the peak of divorces is observed. If a man divorced and formed a new family with a good fairy, he will start comparing her with an old wife after a while, trying to make a copy. I had to face situations that were more like the theater of absurdity than the real life. They showed very well what kind of mixture was in the man's head. He sincerely believes that he will be able to arrange everything, so that everything will go to his place in itself. And that the wolves will be saturated, and the sheep are healthy. Even a man who has learned about the mistress can tell the following text, "Well, what are you going through? I'm not going to marry her. I don't leave a family. Give me a little more freedom." He confused his 40 with his former 16, his wife with his mother. The wife decides that the husband was crazy and lost his conscience. In fact, the husband desperately needs his wife's support and help, but he does not know how to ask how to explain it, how terrible things are with him. Because the man behaves aggressively and inexplicably, it is natural that he is repelled and condemned. The crisis will ever end, but the suffering man does not know it. For him, his problem is for life. How does a woman survive a man's crisis? For your husband about 40. He began to take an active interest in his health and appearance. Communicate with you, but somehow superficially. Sometimes he gets annoyed by the little things, he hangs on to everything, behaves like a capricious teenager. And very often surprises you with your speeches, so surprise you that you want to go to a psychiatrist. Maybe he has any problem? Yes, it happened. It was the crisis of the 40s. What to do? Try to as little as possible to control and ask where it is. Do your appearance revision, strictly evaluate everything and try to maximize your style as much as possible. After more than 10 years of marriage, the man almost does not see his wife, he feels more. A man's perception is a separate language. In the crisis period, the main task is not to demonstrate your kinship in its many years of stay near all situations in life, most importantly now that it can see you. What's more, he has to raise the question, why does she care about her appearance here now? It is hard to know her. Even if you suspect that he has some kind of novel, no life invites you to fulfill the deed. If you know what, then do it. The essence of the deed is that you have been arresting yourself from the search for evidence of infidelity in every possible way. This is the only exception from the rule informed, hence armed. On the contrary, in this case it works in a destructive and more useful enemy. What's more, your husband will try to provoke you in every way to reveal his secret. It is difficult for him to stay in constant tension, and he is unconsciously awaiting the opening. In order to justify yourself, he will look for ways to get angry with you, to make you a witch. After all, he will be able to say to himself with a clean conscience, it's impossible to live with such a monster. Therefore, the formula is, more attention to yourself, your appearance and your own interests. Plus maximum endurance and self-control. It is not advisable to clarify the relationship, control the man, inform him that you know about his relationship, reminding him that he has a family office, blackmailing children, raising scandals, and washing the brain. If you follow these rules, in essence, it is a heroic effort. Marriage will remain and you may have a new honeymoon for you in the future. However, plan it no earlier than 1.5 years after the start of the crisis. Thanks for listening. If you want to hear more, click subscribe and like.